and say out of the trouble than stay back in that pack. And this is what's interesting. These women have so much speed. They run such fast 1,500 meters they all have this incredible ability to run fast, and this is what I'm waiting for. We're going to see someone who just can't take it anymore. Right now they're all chomping at the bit. This feels uncomfortable for them to run this slow. And now with 4 laps to go, we see Elise Cranny go to the front.
Carrie Verdon is in the mix there as well, the teacher from Boulder, Colorado. So final 4 laps. Grisha Schweitzer, who Kara said keep an eye on right at the top of this broadcast. Hit number 8 there, runs second, ahead of Josette Norris. And then Rachel Schneider. But it's Cranny who leads.
Cranny looks so relaxed, and her coach Lane Flanagan told me she's had the most growth in the last year. The pandemic year helped her the most of anyone else on that team. She's had the biggest transformation. She's been running with confidence. She believes in herself. She was a high school star, struggled a little bit in college, and now she's just blooming. And we see she takes the lead here, and they seem to stretch out a little bit. So I'll be interested to see this next lap because they are not as bunched anymore, and they are definitely starting to pull that pace down.
Elise Cranny at the front, who represented Stanford University. Interestingly enough, she never won an NCAA title there, but since leaving has really established herself at the top.
Absolutely. She has responded well to the training, and she's believing in herself. She believes she deserves to be here. And this looks a little bit like team tactics, okay? So we saw Elise Cranny go and take a lap, and now we see Schweitzer go and take a lap.
Look who's come into the mix. Abby Cooper right there on the left. Hip number 6. Cooper is the athlete we told you about in the heat that left the rest of the field behind right before she walked out on track. Her coach said it's going to be very hot on Monday. So if you get a chance to run the Olympic qualifying standard here in the heat, do it. If you feel it within yourself, do it. And she went out and did it. Now she's in the mix for a potential slot to Tokyo.
Things are starting to crank up here. Their last lap was in 71. I think we can count on every lap just getting hotter and hotter now as they go around. They only have a little over 2 laps to go, and I think we're going to see that intensity keep getting higher and higher and higher as they go here.
The 25-year-old from Iowa, Carissa Schweitzer, leads. She has a look at the big screen, like so many athletes do. She wants to know who is where behind her. It's Elise Cranny, Rachel Schneider, Abby Cooper, and then Josette Norris has kind of dropped Ali Bukowski a little, and then there's a gap back to the greater pack.
Josette Norris needs to get back on that pack. She has not been outkicked yet this year. This is where the move is happening. This is where the Olympic team is being made. She has got to claw her way back in there. Just like we saw in the men's 10,000, you don't know what can happen over that last 200 meters, but you have to be in the mix. They just ran a 70-second lap.
There are only 2 Olympians in this field. Gwen Jorgensen, who won the triathlon in Rio, and Abby Cooper. Abby Cooper is in the mix to go back to the Olympics. She's 4th at the moment.
This is an incredible race out of Abby Cooper. She's worked so hard to get back where she is. You know, the experience in Rio wasn't what she wanted. She wanted to go and compete and see how good she could be, and that was taken from her. She has shown so much grit and so much guts over the last 2 days, and now she is here hanging on 4 women, 3 spots.
Rachel Schneider in the orange top, who sits second. She said, I tried just to stay as relaxed as I could in my heat to guarantee my way to the final. How do you stay relaxed like this?
You just have to, and even right now, they need to conserve energy. You know, Rachel Schneider went up in miles this year. She took advantage of that pandemic year to do some strength training. She was typically a 1,500-meter runner, and she's embraced those longer distances. And I think we're going to see some fireworks on this last lap here.
2 of the top 4 look more relaxed than others. That's Carissa Schweitzer and Rachel Schneider. Cranny and Cooper look like they're working a little harder.
Lee, that was a 67 last lap. They are absolutely flying right now. All 4 of these women have the Olympic qualifier. This is going to be a war of attrition. Abby Cooper needs to get back up on that pack.
Can Cooper do it? It was a miraculous run in her heat. She's going to need to dig deep here up the backstretch on the final lap. Per Kara Goucher's recommendation, Schweitzer is the one to beat. Elise Cranny, Rachel Schneider.
Schweitzer is fighting for that finish line, but Elise Cranny has not given up, and we've seen Schneider kick so well all year.
None of these 3 women in the top 3 positions have ever represented Team USA at the Olympic Games before. They're en route now into the final stretch, and here comes Elise Cranny. Cranny is taking the fight to Carissa Schweitzer. She's going to win trials, but all 3 will go to Tokyo. Elise Cranny, the 25-year-old, wins here at trials. Schweitzer and Schneider are
incredible race out of her. And also Rachel Snyder hanging in there so tough, and Karusha Schweitzer, who's dealt with that mental comeback.